Good evening and welcome to the Hillside Club. For those who are joining us for the first time, the Hillside Club was founded in the late 19th century by a group of enterprising women who were determined to preserve the beauty of the Berkeley Hills. Over time, men were invited, and the club expanded its mission to also become a place of intellectual discourse and the arts. This program centers around the mosaics that are a prominent feature of St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Berkeley, which is my parish. Special thanks are due to St. Mark's parishioner Bob Kalenko, who photographed all the mosaics and wrote much of this history, and Leonard Johnson, our parish historian, contributor, and reviewer for the substantial document describing the iconography of the mosaics. The booklet project, The Mosaics of St. Mark's, which was the basis of this talk, was begun in the fall of 2015 and was completed in 2019 by the Mosaics Subcommittee at St. Mark's. This talk is also indebted to Susan Dinkelspiel-Cerny, 1940 to 2016, Hillside Club member with her husband, Joe Cerny, a past Baja president and past chair of Berkeley's Landmarks Preservation Commission. Much of the architectural history of St. Mark's in this talk is sourced from Susan's book, Berkeley Landmarks, an illustrated history of Berkeley, California, Berkeley, California's architectural heritage, 2001. In that book, Susan writes that St. Mark's is the most significant example of the mission revival style in Berkeley. It is the best surviving work of architect William Curlett, 1845 to 1914, a native of Ireland who arrived in San Francisco in 1871 and established his architectural practice around 1877. Its square-shaped, four-story bell tower at the corner of Bancroft and Ellsworth is the most prominent feature. It is ironic that Berkeley has an ordinance against the ringing of church bells. The Cal Campanile is on state property, giving us lovely carillon concerts. Next slide. Along Bancroft Way, east of the main bell tower, is an open one-story arcade resting on an arched colonnade that has a sloping shed roof. Rising behind the arcade is the large three-story sanctuary. A second arcade connects the church to the parish house next door, which was added in 1912 and designed by Willis Polk. The arcades are a perfect design element to modify the mass and height of the sanctuary and to provide a pedestrian scale at the sidewalk. On the west side of the church, facing Ellsworth Street, the mission-styled gable of the main sanctuary remains a beautiful stained glass rose window attributed to Tiffany. Another bell tower on the southwest corner is only 2 stories tall, but also has a domed roof and a simple arched entrance. Here are 3 views of the stained glass rose window from inside St. Mark's. The Reverend Walter Williams was rector of St. Mark's from 1953 to 1962. Under his leadership, a major building program began, with the education building with nursery and classrooms to be the first constructed. Williams commissioned the San Francisco artist and sculptor Ruth Cravath to put the mosaics on the walls of the new building, providing her with a book of Christian symbols for guidance. Ruth Cravath was born in Chicago in 1902 and came to the California School of Fine Arts, San Francisco in 1921. In an oral history interview conducted in 1975 for the Bancroft Library, she recalls first living in Berkeley in a brown shingle house on Leroy Avenue, very near the Hillside Club. That house was lost in the fire of 1923, after which Ruth lived in temporary apartments until moving permanently to San Francisco. In San Francisco, she studied under sculptor Ralph Stackpole and herself taught sculpture for many years at the California School of Fine Arts. For 10 years, Ruth lived in a studio on Montgomery Street in San Francisco that had previously belonged to Stackpole and conveniently had a stone yard behind the house. These photos by Imogen Cunningham, a colleague of Ruth at the California School of Fine Arts, show Ruth at work in her studio and using a chain hoist to lift a heavy block. Ruth was primarily a sculptor, mainly in stone, but also produced a wide variety of works during her career, including garden and civic sculpture, portrait busts, and bas-reliefs, as well as lesser known easel works in oils, watercolors, and pastels. Among her most significant commissions were 3 sculptures for the Court of the Pacific at Golden Gate International Exposition in 1939, and 3 bas-relief panels in San Francisco's Stock Exchange Lunch Club. But Cravath's best known public work is in the San Francisco Bay Area, must be her 27-foot tall cast concrete and steel reinforced statue of St. Francis that stood at the entrance of Candlestick Park from 1973 till 2015. The statue is currently in storage, awaiting a new location. Ruth designed the 68 mosaics of St. Mark's to fit door frames and window frames of the new education building, which would eventually be called Williams Hall, as a memorial to the Reverend Walter Williams, who died before the project was completed. She executed the mosaics during 1961 to 1964. In the oral history interview, she says, "I decided that since it was a Sunday school, religious symbols would be the suitable thing. And I also thought that we would use animals and bird symbols as much as we could. You know, children would relate to that, and use the human figure as little as possible." One of the first mosaics she executed was the window frame panel of a pelican feeding its young. The 3 floor-to-ceiling door frame panels are approximately 7 feet tall and about 2 feet wide, and made up of 8 separate mosaics. The first panel symbolizes the first days of creation. The center panel, with the tree of Jesse, is a bridge from the Old Testament to the New. The third takes us to the last days of Jesus' ministry on earth. Next slide. Additionally, there are 26 window frame mosaics in color and 38 window frame mosaics in blue and white. The window frame mosaics are all approximately 2 feet square and are each made of roughly 2,500 individual tiles, tesserae. Parishioner June Brown, who met Ruth during the execution of the mosaics, says that some 15 years or so after the installation of the mosaics in Williams Hall, the second floor outside walkway leaked. The repairman was careless and slopped liquid cement slurry on some of the mosaics. June and other volunteers came to repair the damage, and surprisingly, Ruth showed up unannounced to do what she could. They were, after all, her mosaics. In later years, Williams Hall was no longer used by St. Mark's, and it was rented to several children's schools, with the result that the mosaics were essentially out of sight to the parishioners. A hint of the blue and white mosaics on the second floor balcony can be seen in this photo. The mosaics were put in storage when Williams Hall was razed for a later development. The mosaics, all but 8, were reinstalled in and around the new Lions Hall, dedicated in 2014. The 3 large door frame panels are installed on the outside wall of Lions Hall, facing the courtyard, thank you, where they form a chronological sequence. The panel of the north end, nearest to us in the artist's sketch, illustrates the creation story from Genesis as a large-size panel of 8 separate mosaics, along with a group of 6 smaller mosaics that symbolically portray the 6 days of creation. Next slide. At the upper right in the top row is the eye of God, omnipotent and omniscient, gazing upon the creation and seeing that it is good. To the left is the Holy Spirit. Ruth's design for the 2 large center mosaics was constrained by the structure of the door frames on Williams Hall. The design is easier to understand if the panels are rotated counterclockwise by 90 degrees. Now we see the starry firmament above and the sky below, populated by various colored birds in flight through the airy element of our life. Isaiah 11:1. There shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of its roots. This quotation from Isaiah is graphically illustrated by the second of the 3 large door panels. The second row from the bottom shows branches with early fruits. On the right, the hexagram of David, Jesse's son, and on the left, the Temple of Solomon, David's son. The center panels take us from the Old Testament to the New. On the right, on a branch from Jesse, is the scroll of Isaiah. On the left is a ram, a sacrificial animal. The third door frame mosaic takes us to the last days of Jesus' ministry on earth. As a whole, this panel symbolizes the Last Supper and Jesus' apostles. As is traditional in Christian art, Jesus' apostles are usually represented by the instruments of their martyrdom, just as Jesus is represented by the cross. The centerpiece of the mosaics installation shows the icons of the 4 evangelists arranged and the Lamb of God, Agnus Dei, the icon of the Lord Jesus Christ, all around the fireplace inside Lions Hall. The Lamb has a halo, the symbol of divinity, and carries the cross of sacrifice and the banner of victory. A winged lion, St. Mark, is at the lower left. A winged bull, St. Luke, at the upper left. A winged man, St. Matthew, at the upper right, and in the eagle, St. John, at the lower right. The icons of the 4 evangelists are all shown with wings because of their connection to the divine. Ruth used a similar design for all the wings, white-gray with red edging. The Gospel according to Mark opens with the voice of one crying in the wilderness, Mark 1:3. This was likened to the roaring of a lion in the desert. The medieval bestiaries taught that lions sleep with their eyes open, which was likened to Christ in the tomb, yet alive. The upper left corner of the winged lion mosaic reads Ruth Cravath, 1962, as shown in the following slide. Ruth's mosaics often use plants and animals to symbolize the essential teachings of Christianity. Their symbolic meanings are mostly drawn from the medieval bestiaries and in writings from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. For example, a less well-known Christian symbol is the pelican. According to medieval legend, when food is scarce, the mother pelican is said to pierce her breast to feed her young with her own blood. The bleeding pelican came to symbolize Christ's sacrifice and is also a symbol for the Eucharist, the Lord's Supper. The unicorn is taken to be a symbol of the incarnation of Christ, because it is said to become gentle at the approach of a virgin. Ruth Cravath executed a series of 9 mosaics to symbolize the fruits of the Spirit from Galatians 5:22 and 23. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The dog is noted for faithfulness and obedience to its master. This panel is located on the outside east wall of Lions Hall. I think that my guide dog, Veronique, and our manager's wonderful dog and club mascot, Bella, would love this mosaic. Dedication of Lions Hall. On a sunny day in 2014, the parish gathered to dedicate Lions Hall. You can see some of the panels behind this happy throng. We are so blessed to have saved the art of Ruth Cravath, now so beautifully integrated in and on this building, and we long to be back in it together, as in this picture. And it will happen in due time. The anagram design on this panel spells out Vivas in Deo, literally live in God, or more colloquially, God be with you. This seems a fitting way to end this lecture. I hope you have enjoyed seeing these wonderful mosaics, and when circumstances allow, you will come sometime when the church is open to see them. I also want to say a big thank you to our club president, Jim Fisher, for the time and energy, and also to Araceli, our club manager, for the time they gave helping me put this program together. And Araceli did a lot of work behind the scenes, but Jim really helped me with this project. I couldn't have done it without him. And to that end, I have something for you, Jim. This is for you, coming at it. Yes, the organ, what you saw below the stained glass is the case of our beautiful Flentrop organ, and the choir sits in almost English choir style seating below on the either side of the organ, on risers, or on platforms, I should say. And we're at the back of the church, at the west end of the church. The altar is at the east end. And I wish we had more pictures of that, but.
Jan, is that your church?
Yes, this is my church. And I've been attending church on Zoom every Sunday morning at 10 since the beginning of March. We do have a live stream at Zoom, both on our Facebook page and on our parish website, stmarksberkeley.org. Nice to see everybody's faces. I can't quite see everybody, but it's wonderful.
What kind of activities do you do there?
Oh my gosh. Well, you mean in normal times or now?
Normal.
Normal. Oh my gosh. We have church on Sunday, and we have on the second Sunday of every month, September through June, we have an organ recital, long-standing organ recital series, evensong and organ recital. And even now we are doing organ recitals, but the organists on the series are playing from their location mostly. A few of them will be given from St. Mark's, but most of them will be given from the location of the visiting artist. And they're wonderful on the second Sunday of each month. Check out our website. We have lots going on.
Jan, this is Kirk speaking.
Hello.
What were the years over which these mosaics were done? Was it done in a short period of time, or was it done over a long period of time?
It was done from 1961 to 1964.
So they were all done pretty much together then?
Yes, they were.
What's amazing, if I'm not interrupting, what is amazing to me is how much dynamic feeling there is in the figures, the animals, and everything. Even though it's mosaic, I'm very surprised. It seems like there's not a lot of detail because it is mosaic and it's a kind of a fixed thing, but everything looks so alive.
You're right. There is a three-dimensional quality to it, very much.
Hi, Jan. It's Lorraine. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for the presentation. Your church is lovely, and when I get a chance, I'm going to come.
Good.
But I was curious about the stained glass window.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Who did that?
Well, we think that Tiffany did it, but we're not 100% sure. But Tiffany or some protege of Tiffany did it.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you.
And the
You
organ,
need to unmute
the organ
yourself.
below it dates from 1971 and has been added to a little bit since then.
Okay.
Hi,
Hi,
Gregory.
John. It's Gregory. I made it.
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah. And I see your brother, John. Hi, John. I think I met you one time at St. Mark's, maybe.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think you might have, Jan, the great presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
I would love, could you go back to the anagram slide? I completely missed how that anagram was. I think you said God go with you.
Sure,
God
we
be
can
with
do it.
you.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't understand why that is those words.
I'm not sure exactly either, but it's stylized. And
Are they the Greek letters?
yes, and they may be in the Greek style too. Or Latin.
No,
Sorry, no, it's probably more like Latin than Greek. Here we are. Yeah, and I'm not. It's short for a lot of things, and I don't know exactly how it. I don't know how. This was her explanation of it, so she had her own her own reasons, I guess. But it's
beautiful.
stylized.
Okay.
Hey, Jan, this is Jan's sister, Chris,
Hey, can I-
also attending
Oh, hi,
from,
Chris, I think I met you too, maybe. I don't know. Hi, Greg. I'm a good friend of your sister, so.
nice to see you. And I'm attending from Washington, DC. Jan, it was a wonderful lecture. The mosaics are beautiful. And my question is, why are they, where are the ones that aren't displayed now, and why aren't they displayed?
They are in storage because I think we literally ran out of space. We use every inch of space that we could use, both outside and inside the hall, and we just kind of ran out of space. But we have them. They're in storage. And only one of all of those mosaics was damaged beyond repair. And we have all the rest of them.
That's great. Really
Good to
interesting.
see you. And Tom, too.
Hey, Jan, what other statue? Those could not have been the only statues.
No, she did
They
other
only-
statues. That was just the most famous one.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, that was amazing statue.
Yeah, it's huge. And I hope they really do find another place to display it sometime. It was at Candlestick Park.
Why were they moved?
They were, you mean the statue, the St.
Yeah.
Francis statue? It was moved because they raised Candlestick Park and they had to put it in storage. But I hope they'll find another place to put it.
Jan, what's your backdrop? Are
Oh,
you,
my backdrop is the fireplace at the Hillside Club.
oh, well, of course I know that.
Where all the fireside meetings take place.
Nice, it's beautiful.
Do they serve lunch there?
Yeah.
I'm directly across from Jan right now, which is why the echo happens when I speak. But if you imagine what Jan is looking at, she's looking at the lights behind me.
Yes. And it's so beautiful. It really
Oh,
is.
that's- So, Jan, this is Jeannie talking again. You mentioned the California School of Fine Arts. Is that referring to CCAC or something else?
Good question. I don't know the answer.
I think it's now called San Francisco Art Institute, but it's
No, separate. That's completely separate. It's now called California School of the Arts, and it moved to San
Mm.
Francisco. Did they merge
Mm.
with the SF Institute? They may have.
Yeah, they may have, I don't
No,
know.
it's definitely not the California College for the Art.
I do know that there was a land dispute at one point on the news. I saw it on the news a couple years ago, and I don't know whatever happened about that.
Because, you know, CCAC was up by College and Broadway for ages. California, let's see, what does it stand for? California College of Arts and Crafts.
Yeah.
And then at some point in the last 20 years or so, they changed their name to California School of the Arts and moved to San Francisco. But I didn't, the institute in SF was different unless they somehow merged. I don't know.
Yeah, that I don't know. I'm a musician. What do I know?
I don't know a whole lot of but I know that the California College of Arts and Crafts is separate. So what was the San Francisco or I'll paste this into if you take a look here.
School of Fine Arts.
It was renamed from San Francisco, from California College of Fine Arts, School of Fine Arts, excuse me, not college, California School of Fine Arts in 1925, I think.
Oh, okay, so they were always separate. Huh.
But this is separate from that art institute in San Francisco that is the real estate scam. That's something different.
I can find.
I told Jan one time, the genie again here, that I was in the San Francisco airport, somewhat lost in some new remodel part of it. And this person who was a volunteer to help lost people in the new parts of the airport found me. And he was a member at St. Mark's and was telling me all about it and recommending that I go there.
Good evangelism. Good for her. Wow.
Well, Jan, I need
Yeah.
to go. I need to go to my next meeting, so.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Okay, nice seeing you, John and Christina. Nice seeing you again, and one day we can see each other in person. Who knows?
That's right. Well, take care.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Jan. It was
Take care of
great.
yourself.
Thank you, good. Thank you, Jan. Thank you.
Bye.
Are there any final questions for Jan? I'm welcome to keep it open as long as we'd like, but we do have a recording of the presentation for those, and I'll share that as well.
I just another question. Did she make other mosaics?
Good question. We don't know. I think that this was the only set that she made, but I can find out probably.
I can't answer definitively, but in that oral history, she mentions other liturgical commissions, and there may have been another mosaic.
That's possible. Yeah.
But I don't know for sure. But she did all kinds of different commissions, including there's a bust of mayors in San Francisco City Hall that she's done as well. So she went all, she did it for everyone.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. And I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Okay, thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jeannie.
Good to see you.
I think
Bye.
it's 3
It was
hours
great.
later. We're
Hey, bye. It's late where you are.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank
Jan.
you.
Bye.
Really wonderful. Bye.
Here.
Awesome
you.
job. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, John. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Jan. Good presentation.
Good night.
Bye, Lorraine. It's good to see you.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, Jan. It was
Oh, yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Glad to do it.
Okay, I'm about to end the meeting here. So we will see you all soon, and stay healthy and safe, and and all everything else, and enjoy those mosaics. I really I found it was a pleasure for me to learn more about this artist, and you know, and all of the symbolism as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as we did. And bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.